Good afternoon, everybody. Gary Beck, naturopath, coming to you once again live from the Maximum Wellbeing Thyroid Studio. Today we're talking a little bit about deficiencies, and of course, nutrient deficiencies, in my opinion, are very widespread, and can indeed be the root cause for why a symptom or illness may in fact develop. Now, unfortunately, there are, obviously many medications that are used for things like depression, anxiety, sleeplessness, and so forth. There's no end of medications that are used and prescribed for these kinds of things. But what we also know is these exact issues can have quite specific relationships to nutrient deficiencies. Sleep, depression, anxiety are certainly some conditions that affect a lot of people that fit into that category quite well. And these things are documented. There is quite a lot of science around it. And of course, more and more today, we've got an increased understanding of the gut and the whole microbiome picture and the influence that itself can have on not only nutrient uptake, but of course, these same conditions, depression, anxiety, sleeplessness, and so on. So today I just want to cover off what I recognize as the most common deficiencies and some of the things that you may experience if you have these deficiencies affecting your health and well-being. So it's well documented, well known, well understood, and there are things that you can quite easily put in place, either dietary changes or supplemental regimes that can help improve your symptom picture and perhaps improve your general well-being. So first up, I want to mention vitamin D. So vitamin D, yes, it's recognized as one of a handful of very widespread nutrient deficiencies. We know that in the current time, with concerns about immunity and viral problems in the society, in our cities, towns, countries, there is a big concern. And there is also significant data showing that if your vitamin D levels are low, you're more susceptible to viral concerns. So the vitamin D deficiency certainly can lead to poor immunity. It can affect your mood, so depressed moods are more likely to occur, as is sleep issues are more likely to occur. So yeah, it's a big one, and if you're not getting out in the sunshine adequately, then supplementing may be appropriate. And it's interesting, there's even a consideration that if you are a person who sunburns more easily, that itself can be an indicator that you may be low in vitamin D. So there's a little tip for you today. Next on the list of our most likely deficiencies, we've got vitamin B12. So vitamin B12 is a critical nutrient for creating good quality red blood cells. And it's also a really important one for things like brain fog, once again, anxiety, energy, of course, is a big one here. So if you are experiencing any of those things, vitamin B12 may be an issue for you. And it's going to be a particularly important one if you are looking at any nerve injury or damage, traumas to the nervous system or nervous tissue. Vitamin B12 is really important for recovery in that regard. Now, vitamin B12 is one of those that is highly susceptible to a deficiency condition if you have any compromised digestive function. So if you're not producing enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach, it's likely that you're not going to be able to assimilate the B12 in your food. So understand that. The deficiency may come around because there's not enough in your diet, but it equally could come around because your digestive system isn't able to assimilate and absorb the nutrients. A really big factor these days in stress and so on and so forth. So next one on the list, so we've got number 3, is iron. So iron, of course, closely associated with what I've just said about B12. And it's commonly understood, of course, that menstruating women are more likely to be lacking iron, but it also affects a lot of men. And the key thing that you're going to experience if you have low iron levels is, of course, a lack of energy. So iron is that really important part of the picture that helps get oxygen and energy around in the blood, in your body, and is really important regards energy. Once again, the same things apply. If you have a weak or poor digestive function, you may well end up being low in iron. Next on the list, one of our favorites, and it's magnesium. Magnesium, of course, you'll be very familiar with if you've been listening to me at all over recent months. Key area here is it's nourishing the nervous system. Of course, we know it's involved in hundreds of different actions in the body, nervous system, stress, anxiety, sleeplessness, and essentially it's that mineral that helps your body relax. So you can imagine if we're low in magnesium, we're going to be more tight and tense. So magnesium plays a role in helping modify our blood sugar and a whole host of other things as well. So don't forget the magnesium. That's a really important one. Next, we move to vitamin A. Now, vitamin A is another really interesting one. It's of course, a fat-soluble vitamin. It's plentiful in things like salmon, but it also comes in a provitamin form from things like green leafy vegetables and carrots, this beta-carotene, which is then converted to vitamin A in the body. So it's a critical one, once again, for your immune system, for your eyesight and vision, for heart, lungs, and kidney to function properly. Vitamin A is really, really important. And I recall back in my naturopathic training days, talks regards our vitamin A uptake and immune system and strong bones and those sort of things. So cod liver oil, of course, used to be a common source of vitamin A and D for those that took cod liver oil regularly, and some people still do. So kudos to them. It's a good all-rounder, and keeping up the vitamin A and vitamin D levels is absolutely critical. Vitamin A also, on the immunity side of things, essentially helps to improve our fight against viruses, if you like. So, you could even look at it in a crude way that it's offering antiviral activity. And last on my little list, so these are the 6 top, is iodine. Now, iodine, we know that iodine is one of those nutrients that our thyroid gland needs for its functionality. And a hypothyroid condition is often a direct result of inadequate iodine. Now, iodine is also a key in every single cell in the body. So this is where the thyroid and its overriding influence on pretty much all body systems is a really important one. And if we consider, what my friend Dr. Turner says, he calls the thyroid essentially, it's like Grand Central Station. It's involved with everything. So it is definitely involved with your immune system, and it's definitely involved with your general sense of well-being and metabolism. So those are the 6 top nutrient deficiencies, or unfortunately the 6 most common nutrient deficiencies, and we can do things to improve and alleviate all of these by choosing to go down the right path with appropriate supplementation. And of course, if you need help in that area, we are only too happy to help guide you on what may be most appropriate for you. All these different things I've talked about, of course, in our food, and that's where we should get them first. But we know that dietary choices, what's available in the supermarket, stress on our system for whatever reason, is potentially going to compromise our ability to get the right food, get the right nutrients, and therefore keep strong and happy and healthy. So that's really my little chat for today. Nutrient deficiencies, unfortunately, are widespread, but we can identify them and do things about improving our lot. So thanks for listening, folks. I hope you have a great day. This is Gary Beck, your naturopath from the Thyroid Studio, signing out for today. Speak to you again real soon.